Novak Djokovic's visa cancellation has been overturned by a court in Australia. Timestamping this right now, it is, you know what, with the time zones, it doesn't even matter. Let me just say this. The decision was made about 45 minutes ago, the original court decision. I don't think this saga is over. I think there's likely more twists and turns, and I want to have the most updated information up on YouTube at all times. So I've made my previous video. I went live during the trial. I've made that unlisted. That doesn't matter anymore, and I don't want people watching this. If information changes and I make a new video, this video could go unlisted. That's how I'm going to do this for something like this. Let me explain why the judge overturned the cancellation of the visa. The visa I said it correctly. It was overturned because the border force did not give Novak Djokovic enough time to respond to the cancellation of the visa. Essentially, Djokovic was told at 5:20 in the morning on Thursday that he would have until 8:30 to provide comments in response to the cancellation of his visa, essentially to provide further evidence that his visa was wrongly canceled. And at this point, the records and the transcripts show that Novak was asking for more time so that his agent in Serbia could wake up, so that Tennis Australia could wake up and respond to the situation that was happening in the wee hours of the morning. Well, Novak's comments were ultimately sought at 6:14 a.m. and so way before 8:30. And then the official decision was made after Novak's response at 7:42 a.m. So the whole process was basically rushed. And in that sense, Border Force did not act fairly and did not act professionally. And that is why Judge Anthony Kelly, overruled the original cancellation of Novak Djokovic's visa. However, and if you're a Novak fan and you've been pulling for him through this, you're not going to like this part of it. But this isn't over for a couple of reasons. First of all, it is not clear, and it was not addressed in the trial, whether Novak Djokovic has a medical exemption, a valid one, based on his positive test in the last 6 months. That was not addressed. That was not discussed. Obviously, the ATAGI, which sets the federal guidelines on this, has said that it is not okay. That is not grounds for an exemption. Craig Tiley told Novak that it was. That's how we got in this mess in the first place. Now, you might be saying, of course it is. Well, if it is grounds for an exemption, why was Renata Vorochova's visa canceled retroactively? Why was it canceled? Why was the other official's visa canceled? And why was Novak's visa canceled in the first place? If Novak has a valid, if the proof that Novak tested positive in the last 6 months is grounds for an exemption, then we're done here. Then Novak presented that and we're done here. But that's still unclear. And as a result, it seems that the immigration minister, his name is Alex Hawke, is now considering whether to use personal power under something called the Migration Act to recancel Novak's visa. So apparently someone has the power to do that, or Alex Hawke, namely, has the power to do that. And the really alarming thing is that if he's successful in canceling the visa, ultimately it seems that the 3-year scenario would go into effect and Novak wouldn't be allowed to enter Australia for 3 years if the personal power of the minister is used. So this is still messy, and I am left with more questions than answers. I did not think that this trial was going to be about the border force's procedural shortcomings. Now, I understand why it was. I understand why the way Novak's case was handled, it's really not acceptable to uphold the cancellation of the visa. But I'm still unclear on a lot of the things that are going to be really, really important here when it comes to what Alex Hawke does. Namely, should Novak Djokovic be allowed in Australia based on Australia's rules? Australia's rules have been, unfortunately, and this is pathetic, it's a failure on the part of all parties involved in Australia, which includes Tennis Australia, which includes the Victorian government, which includes the federal government. Somehow, it's still unclear if the 6-month previous positive is real grounds for the COVID exemption. And that's what this is going to come down to. Sorry, medical exemption. That's what this is going to come down to. And I still don't know. After a trial, I still don't know. Ultimately, I want to leave you guys with this in terms of the emotion and the morals. This is kind of where I've landed on this. And I know that this is a controversial issue. A lot of people are going to take the side that, you know, Novak just should be vaccinated. A lot of you will take the side that Australia's rules are horrible and that vaccine mandates are wrong. You have different sides of the spectrum here. And that's the picture I'm trying to paint. Here's the one thing I think everyone should be able to agree on, regardless of kind of where you stand on things in terms of vaccines, mandates, all that. The two things that should have happened here is this. Either Novak Djokovic should not have been allowed in Australia based on Australia's immigration rules, and he should have been told that. Or he should have been allowed into Australia based on Australia's immigration rules, and then he should have been told that, which he was, and he should have been let in without having to go through all this. Those are the two fair scenarios. What has happened here is not fair and is not right and is a failure in a lot of different aspects. All right, let's see how this goes. Alex Hawke has about 3 hours to decide whether or not he is going to re-cancel Djokovic's visa. So I'm going to go to sleep, but I'll have an update for you likely tomorrow morning. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.